Hey everybody, wanted to make a quick video for you on how to deal with a broody hen. Oh goodness, are you gonna start carrying on? That's enough. That's enough. Okay, let's try that again. What to do with a broody hen? How do you know if you have a broody hen? And yeah, how do you break her if that's what you so choose to do? So let's start with, how do you know if you have a broody hen? If you keep hens, chickens, you will likely notice behavioral changes once in a while, and you might notice that you have specific chickens that are more likely to go broody. And I had, as an example, I had a buff Orpington once, and every couple of months it seemed like she went broody on me. Broody means they want to raise baby chickens, and their behavior will change. So what you can see here, she is just laying in here with the eggs. You can kind of see them poking out from underneath her. And before I put her in here, I gave it about a week of this behavior to make sure that it was going to stick, because sometimes they only do it for a few days and then they change their minds. But she's just laying in here. If I were to pick her up, I could show you that she has pulled all of the feathers off of her chest and part of her stomach. That is to help incubate the eggs and keep them a consistent, steady temperature. But the biggest one is that she just is very, she doesn't want to move. And if you reach in, you see her getting instantly aggressive. If I got any closer, she's going to bite my fingers until I stop reaching in. They puff themselves up, and sometimes they make noises that I call them pterodactyl. I call them angry pterodactyl noises. So once we figured out she was broody, you kind of have two choices, because they also will slow down on their eating and drinking while they're broody. And that can actually make them very weak and sick. So you can't just allow a broody chicken to go unnoticed and uncared for. So the first option that you have is you can give them fertilized eggs. So she had been collecting eggs from all the other hens, and we don't have a rooster right now, so they were unfertilized. They were never going to hatch. They were just going to stay under her and rot. So I contacted a friend of mine, and you can usually find people on Facebook or Craigslist or any like local farmers, chicken raisers that you know. They may have fertilized eggs for you. You want them to be fresh fertilized eggs, as in they had just been laid within the last couple of days by their hens. So my friend Jen hooked me up with some fertilized eggs from her flock, and I brought them home and I separated her. This is just a very basic dog crate. We have a few dog crates that are multi-purpose, but in this case it just gives her a little bit of privacy out of the way, where the other hens and other animals won't bother her, because I do close this door off of it. I don't latch it in case she does want to come out, but this gives her some privacy. And it also frees up the roosting box so that the other hens can lay. Right now we have 10 hens. We only have one roosting box because we used to have more, and they always laid in the same one. So when the other ones broke, I just didn't replace them. So anyway, it frees up the roosting box, or rather the nesting box, for the other hens to lay their eggs. Oh my gosh, Miss Loudmouth. The goaties came in, so my other hen's getting upset. She doesn't like it when the goaties are in here. So anyhow, we gave her some fertilized eggs. Let me go take care of this chicken. Take 3. So we gave her some fertilized eggs to lay on. I did give her 12. I think that's a bit much maybe, but they might not all be fertilized and they might not all grow, and she actually checks them every single day. If you get a good broody mama, she will take care of the whole thing start to finish. You won't even have to worry about it. So if she checks them every single day, if any of them are not fertilized or they're not developing, she'll actually kick them out, and I'll come out in the morning and there will be an egg or 2 over here, and I'll know to get rid of them. And just a word of caution, you want to be very careful because they tend to explode and the smell is horrendous. So have a little bucket or a trash bag really close by that you can dispose of them. So we're going to let her lay on these. Oh, she's going to get adjusted. Look at her. She's like, get away from my eggs. Yeah. So anyhow, she'll stop laying eggs also while she's doing this process. We put these fertilized eggs underneath her. She'll lay on them for about 21 days. She'll rotate them, keep them warm, and then she'll hatch them out. Once she has babies, once again, if she's a good mama, she will raise them. So you won't have to do anything with the babies either. She will teach them how to forage. She'll keep them warm at night. So really very, very low maintenance. Once in a while, you will get a hen who is not a good mom, and she might try to kill the eggs or kill the chickens, and you just want to separate them as quickly as possible if you see that happening. See, she's trying to put her bare skin right down on the eggs to keep them nice and warm. I think she's going to be a good mama, fingers crossed. So a little bit more about broody mama care if you're going to let them hatch them out. I am keeping her food and water very close. Normally you wouldn't need to do this because they will still get up and get a drink, stretch out, get some food on a daily basis, but where their food and water is kept is outside right now, and it's kind of a long distance, and I haven't seen her go out there the last few days, so I want to make sure she does have access to food and water. So I set up a nice little nest in here, and then I just keep the door partially closed so that she has some privacy, but that she can still get out if she wants to. So that's your first option if you want more chickens. You let your broody mama hatch them out and raise them for you. Again, 21 days. If it goes much further past that, you need to check your eggs and make sure that they're not rotting or underdeveloped. The second option that you have, you also can just do using a dog cage. So the reason, part of what happens when they go broody is that their body temperature is raised, is elevated. So you'll notice this a lot in the spring and summer when the temperature outside is raised, it gets elevated. So their body temperature is raised, and that keeps them in this broody state. So if you don't want them to raise eggs and you want to break, it's called breaking them of their broodiness. There's a few ways that you can do this, and I'll tell you what I think is the safest method, because you can do what is called a water bath method, where you take lukewarm water and you dip the chicken in the water, mostly like the bottom half of her body where she's exposed. And you are supposed to do this like a couple times a day for a few days until they go back to normal. But I will tell you the truth that I did this one year with the Buff Orpington that I mentioned earlier, because she just kept going broody. She was not looking healthy. So I had like this very narrow, this very small tub. It was lukewarm water. It was not cold at all. And it was a really hot, like it was a summer day, so it also wasn't cold outside. And I was just very gently dipping her in, and she died within a couple of days. And I feel like she probably had suffered some kind of shock, or it did something to her heart. But I was very upset about that because I was extremely cautious, and it still just didn't work. So the safer method that I think works is that you take the dog crate like she's in now, and you don't put any straw in it. You want it to just be like a bare plastic bottom. You don't want anything that can insulate her or provide heat. And then you take, you can take a stick. We have like a bamboo stick like I have here that you could use in the garden or anything like that. So you would take the stick while she's in there and you slide it across, and you just basically create a little roost in there. Again, you want to provide her with food and water. The roost has to be sturdy. This is not going to be particularly sturdy, but you get the idea. You just slide a roosting bar across there so she has somewhere to roost. You don't put any straw in, but you give her food and water, and you do close her in there because you don't want her coming out and trying to find somewhere else to build a nest. So within a couple of days of her roosting on that bar and not being able to build a nest, her body temperature will naturally lower and her behavior will return to normal, and that is considered breaking her broodiness. That to me is the safest way of doing it. I have used that method successfully in the past. I've never lost any chickens doing that. And again, it's super easy. If you don't have a dog crate, anything you can do to separate the hen and just make sure she can't keep herself super warm like this girl is right here will help break her of her broodiness, and she'll move back to her normal behavior. She'll start laying eggs again. She'll go out with the rest of the flock. But for now, we are going to leave this lady to hatch out some eggs for us, and hopefully we'll get, you know, be able to add a few healthy little babies to our flock. So let's see if she'll say bye to us. You want to say bye to us? Oh, do you see that? Say bye.